Hi everybody, this is Christian Mitron and I'm making this video for anyone who's trying to make a overlay on one of their streaming content. I hope you find this useful. This is a free software, easy to use. First thing you need to go is go to streamlabs.com, download the software right here. Once you have it installed, you should see a screen that looks just like this. You can log in with your Twitch account, YouTube, or Facebook. Right now we're just going to do skip. Get to the next part, and then you should see the screen where it says welcome to Streamlabs OBS. Select start. You should be able to see yourself on your camera. Cool. And I'm going to select my microphone. It's going to be this one. Select continue. Now it says add a theme. We're going to skip this because we're going to create our own. Perfect. So you should see a screen that looks like this, or you just see a big black thing that has nothing in it because we had to build it out. And that's your scene. We're gonna add sources to our scene. In order to do that, we're gonna hit this little plus sign. It's gonna make sense to you in a little bit. So we're gonna select video capture device. Here we're going to select the webcam, select add source. Now let's call this webcam add source. All right, now you see yourself again. Cool. And in here, just make sure you could see it. If not, select the camera that you're able to view yourself, and add select done. Now we want to expand it to show the full screen, because what you see in this board right here is what you're going to see when you're on your video conferencing. So let's continue to expand it. And I'm expanding it by just left clicking and holding these little squares down. Okay, and now I'm going to bring this down. Right now, when you're happy with the position of this whole thing, the webcam, we're going to want to lock it down. So you see this little lock here. And this way I cannot grab it anymore. And when we add additional layers, it's not going to move. So we have our webcam. Next thing we want to do is I'm going to add my name down here. And so my name could actually show up and look prominent, I'm going to add a background for it. So let's add that. I'm going to hit the plus again here on sources. Select, let's do color source first, and add source. I'm going to call this teal 60% because that's the color I'm going to make it. And I'm calling it 60% because I don't want it to be fully solid. I want it to be visible so you can see through it a little bit. Let's pick, you could, here, let me show you. You could either click here and pick the color you want, stroll through this, and pick the color you want. You can see up here on the left, it changes, and that's what people are going to be seeing. Now, I think I know my color code I want, 01707B. Okay, perfect. So that's the color I wanted. Hit done. I'm going to bring this down. I'm going to put it where I want. All I did is click on it and hold it down. And I put it. Now, as I showed you earlier, if you just left click and bring it up and down, it moves the whole thing. But what we want to do is we want to distort the square to a rectangle. So in order to do that, we're going to hold down the shift key and left click. And we're going to do the same thing on this end. And like I mentioned earlier, I actually wanted it to be a little bit opaque so we could see, or transparent so we could see through it. So let's double click again on this TL60. And let's click again here. And if we see this slider, we could bring this down. That's 0.76. I'm just going to do what I said, 0.6. Done. Cool. Now you can see through it. Kind of happy with that position. I'm sure I can move it later on, but for now I'm going to lock it so I don't screw with it. Now we're going to hit the little plus sign again and add the name. So go to text GDI, like that source. So it's going to be my name, Christian Mitron, add source. Now here you can select what type of font you want and the text you're going to have on that font. So here I'm just going to type in my name, Christian Mitron. Perfect. You can see it show up on the top left. We're going to actually make that larger. It's better to make your font size larger than what you want it in the actual placing, because so if this looks good, let's hit done. So let's say when I put it here, and if I'm going to expand it, it's actually going to make it look a little bit blurry. But if I just bring it down, it doesn't have that little blurry effect, so it doesn't look hard to read. Okay, so that looks good. Now if I'm happy with the placement, I'm going to hit this little lock key right here. Cool. Oh, there it is. So, I mean, that's how you put in your name, but let's say we want to add an image. We go to same place, sources. We select image. Select that source. I'm going to call this CB logo since it's going to be a logo. My initials. And then the image file. Select browse, and it's going to look in your computer. Mine is right here. Done. And then we want to move it where we would like it to be. I'm going to shrink this down. I'm not going to hold shift because I don't want to distort it. And I'm going to put it right here. We can lock it. Cool. So this is essentially what you want. You could also add GIFs. You could add whatever you want. You could create different scenes. So let's say I hit this little plus sign, new scene, hit done. And it goes all black. That way, now you can create a whole other avenue of what you created. If you want to go back to the scene you had, just click there. And all this happens in real time when you're on a conference call. And now I think that shows us how to do the images, text, backgrounds, and the webcam. One thing to note is it does matter of what the layers and what order they're in. So like, let's say I bring this webcam above the teal 60, it will disappear because the webcam is in front of it. So let's bring that back. And then now once you're ready and you're happy and you like your settings, one thing you need to do in order for it to show on Zoom or any other webcam conference calls is hit the settings down here. Select virtual webcam. The first time you do this, it's going to ask you to install. This is all, so you just click it and it only takes a few seconds, and then select start virtual webcam. Cool. And that's essentially it. Every time you go to your conference calling, make sure you select, it would be the camera would be called OBS camera. And before you go into it, before you go into your conference call, make sure you open this program up, select settings, virtual webcam, and start the camera. You have to do it every time, but that's essentially it. I hope this was informative. If you like it, let me know. Have a good day. Thanks.